I can remember not only just walking to the library sometimes, but riding my bicycle to the library and coming to visit it. And then, of course, around 2005, the library on this site was renovated and expanded. My name is Robert Harden, and I'm the library director. I actually started at the library in 1980, not as director. I became director in 2007, but I actually started work here in 1980, and over the years had a variety of jobs and different things that I did until, like I said, ultimately in 2007 I became a director. My parents started taking me to the library. I was very fortunate that they took all of us kids to the library starting at a young age. The library was the old Carnegie Library on Liberty Street. I believe it was around 1968 that they built a new library on this location. And I remember that was people were very excited about that at the time because it had outgrown the room that the Carnegie Library had. It's interesting that I think Samuel Edmonds, if I'm not misquoting myself, Samuel Edmonds was the superintendent of public schools at the time. I think it was around 1915. The library itself opened in 1917, but I think it was around 1915 that he and the school board became interested and felt that Sumter should submit an application for a grant from the Carnegie Foundation to build a library, a public library in Sumter. But it's kind of interesting to me that it was the superintendent of schools that was the one that was the driving force behind. And of course, they formed a committee, submitted the grant, and it was accepted. Well, the Carnegie Library, obviously the first thing that comes to my mind is Andrew Carnegie, who was a Scotsman. My understanding from what I've read about him is that he came from very humble beginnings. And I believe he made his fortune in steel. I'm not sure, but I think he was a steel magnate, and he became enormously wealthy. And he wanted to give something back. He thought that providing money for different communities to found libraries that did not have the money to start that resource was very important. When I first started here, I got to recognize that the library had a lot of materials for doing research. Of course, at this time, we're talking 1980, this was pretty much pre-internet. When I like to say when I first started working here, our one high-tech piece of equipment, we had one electric typewriter, and that was our high-tech in 1980. So all the reference materials that we had were these huge bound books that you would look in, and of course encyclopedias, which are basically unheard of now. But you had all the Britannica, the Americana, the World Book Encyclopedia, like 26 or 27 volumes. Yeah, I think we still have we've kept one or two of the old ones because every now and then there's some subjects that have not become outdated that people will every now and then want to check out see what the World Book, because the World Book was, and I'm sure it still is online, but it was a very reliable source of information. I mainly read a lot of nonfiction. I like biography and history mainly. Bill O'Reilly had a series of books called, it was like Killing Japan, which was like the war against Japan during World War II. An interesting way to title them, but I think this was Killing England, or anyway, but it was about the American Revolution. And I learned a lot about the American Revolution that I did not know from reading that book. And one of the interesting things about it was I did not realize how many battles were fought and how crucial they were that were fought here in South Carolina. Of course, I'd always heard about Francis Mary and the Swamp Fox, but again, it was a very surface knowledge, but this book gave me a much more deeper understanding of the what was going on at that time. And like I said, I didn't realize that that so many battles were fought in South Carolina that had an important effect on the overall outcome of the American Revolution. I think people think nowadays that everyone's just kind of born with the tablet in their hand and knows how to do everything, but that's not necessarily always the truth, that some people do need help. They need a place to be able to access the internet and get on the internet, and they also oftentimes need help finding the information or getting to the site, even printing out their, sometimes printing out information that they need as well. The library is useful for so many things. It's we'd like to think of it as kind of a hub of the community, especially if you're a voracious reader, or even not. You come in, you get a library card, and you have this a great variety of books, fiction and nonfiction, and of all genres that are valuable that you can check out for free, which is a pretty good deal. That reading is a lifetime. It's something that you can do your whole life.